The fact. British soldiers at the Battle of Mons claimed to be protected by supernatural entities. In August 1914, the British Expeditionary Force, BEF, was being systematically annihilated. During the brutal retreat from Mons, they found themselves caught in a mechanical hell. No one had prepared them for this brutal reality of war. They were hopelessly outnumbered by the German First Army, a gray tide of men and steel. This tide seemed inexorable and inhuman, overwhelming the British forces. As the British soldiers fell back, they retreated through the Belgian countryside. They had no sleep for days, and their ammunition was nearly exhausted. A story began to ripple through the ranks, a story so pervasive and detailed, it eventually reached the highest levels of the War Office. It would later be popularized as the Angel of Mons. For the men in the muddy ditches, it was something far more ancient. It was far more visceral and terrifying than a mere angel. It was a call from the blood of the land itself. Exhausted soldiers, their eyes red from dust and smoke, swore they saw something. As the Germans prepared for a final crushing bayonet charge, the sky transformed. A golden, shimmering light pierced the horizon, intense enough to be seen through smoke. Out of this radiance, a line of shining spectral bowmen appeared. These were not men of the 20th century. They wore leather jerkins and steel helmets. To the terrified British, these were the ghosts of the archers from Agincourt, men who had fought and died on this very soil 500 years prior. They described the sound of thousands of bowstrings snapping in unison. It was a sound like a massive, metallic harp being plucked by a giant. Invisible arrows reportedly rained down upon the German lines with great force. The German advance simply stopped, baffling the soldiers on the front lines. The most chilling confirmation of this event comes from the German perspective. When German prisoners were interrogated later in the war, many recounted this experience. They claimed they were forced to halt their advance not because of gunfire, but because the British had suddenly received tens of thousands of reinforcements. These reinforcements were said to be entirely immune to bullets. German officers reported seeing their own men fall in heaps, uninjured but terrified. They spoke of a wall of white light that made their horses bolt. This light caused their artillery shells to detonate in midair, creating chaos. While historians have long dismissed this as mass hallucination, the reports remain unexplained. Dozens of men, separated by miles of trench line, described the same figures. They described the same golden light and the same feeling of divine coldness. It was as if the land of France had reached back into its own history. It summoned a defense against a new and even darker age of war.